Steve Cropper, the legendary guitarist, songwriter, and producer, has died at the age of 84. He passed away on Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, in Nashville, Tennessee. According to family and media reports, he was with a close friend working on new music just one day earlier, although no official cause of death has been shared. His passing came suddenly and quietly. Today, we remember a man whose guitar helped define an era and whose influence will resonate for decades to come. Early life. From Missouri farm to Memphis soul. Steve Cropper was born Stephen Lee Cropper on October 21, 1941, on a farm near Dora, Missouri. As a child, he lived sometimes in Dora and West Plains before, at age 9, his family moved to Memphis, Tennessee, a shift that would change everything. In Memphis, young Steve listened to gospel, rhythm and blues, and early rock on black run radio stations, music that stirred something deep inside him. By the time he was 14, he scraped together enough money from odd jobs, like setting bowling pins, to buy a mail order guitar. He started playing with friends, one of them, Charlie Freeman, would become a lifelong musical comrade. Together they formed an early band, and their fate became entwined with the birth of a music revolution. Cropper's early influences included the likes of Billy Butler, Loman Pauling of the Five Royales, Chet Atkins, Chuck Berry, Jimmy Reed, a mix of gospel, blues, country, and early rock that shaped his clean, understated style. Rise to fame. Stax Records, the Marquis and Booker T, and the MGs. In the late 1950s, Cropper and Freeman formed a band first known as the Royal Spades, which soon evolved into the Marquis. Their 1961 hit single Last Night became one of the earliest national successes for the fledgling record label that would become Stax Records. By 1962, Cropper became a founding member of Booker T and the MGs alongside keyboardist Booker T. Jones, drummer Al Jackson Jr., and bassist Louis Steinberg, later replaced by Donald Duck Dunn in 1964. Their instrumental single Green Onion's moody, groovy, unmistakable helped film the blueprint for Southern soul and revolutionized the sound coming out of Memphis. From 1961 through the end of 1970, Cropper was said to be involved in virtually every record issued by Stax as guitarist, producer, arranger, and often engineer. He helped craft a string of major R&B and soul hits, guitars and songwriting credits on tracks by artists like Otis Redding, Wilson Pickett, Eddie Floyd, Sam and Dave, Carla Thomas, and many more. Among his biggest songwriting triumphs, co-writing Sittin' On, The Dock of the Bay, In Midnight Hour, and Knock On Wood, songs that not only charted but became timeless staples of soul and R&B. In 1996, British magazine Mojo honored Cropper by naming him the second-best guitarist of all time, a recognition of his subtle yet powerful influence on guitar music globally. A style like no other. The rhythm player. Cropper never went for flashy solos or showy heroics. He once said he thought of himself as a rhythm player, someone who delights in repeating a riff, in getting the groove just right, over and over again. That discipline and taste, less about ego, more about serving the song, is why so many of his guitar parts still feel fresh, relevant, even after decades. Fellow guitarists like Keith Richards called his playing perfect, and students of the guitar continue to study his tight, economical licks. Later career, the Blues Brothers and beyond. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Cropper's name reached a new generation when he joined the band of the comedy rock act The Blues Brothers, the brainchild of comedians John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. His signature guitar sound powered their cover of Soul Man, and during the track, Sam more famously cried out, "Play it, Steve," before Cropper unleashed a sharp, ringing guitar riff, a moment that practically etched his name in pop culture. Over the years, he also released solo albums, produced for other artists, and reunited with various incarnations of the MGs for tours. In recognition of his songwriting genius, Cropper was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2005. Personal life and character. Beyond the stage and the studio, Cropper was described by loved ones as humble, generous, and deeply devoted to family. His official name, the Colonel, was a light-hearted nickname, but there was nothing joking about his integrity. His family paid tribute, saying, "Steve was a beloved musician, songwriter, and producer whose extraordinary talent touched millions of lives around the world. While we mourn the loss of a husband, father, and friend, we find comfort knowing that Steve will live forever through his music. As of this writing, no public last words have been reported. Even so, his music speaks for him loud, clear, and timeless. Final days and passing. According to close associate Eddie Gore, Cropper was in Nashville working on new material just the day before he died. "We were blessed to have him, for sure," Gore said. His family confirmed the news, declining to share a cause of death. For now, the world simply mourns. Why Steve Cropper mattered. It's not an exaggeration to say that if you listen to soul, R&B, rock, funk, even hip-hop or modern R&B samples, you hear a trace of Steve Cropper. His clean, soulful guitar, his ear for melody, his sense of rhythm and restraint, they helped define the sound of Memphis in the 1960s and influenced generations of musicians to come. His songs still chart on playlists, his riffs are still studied by guitarists, and his influence lives on every time an artist reaches for that gritty, soulful groove. In the words of one fan, "If you haven't heard the name Steve Cropper, you've heard him in song. He was more than a sideman, he was the backbone of soul. A humble genius whose strings carved out a sound that still moves us." Thanks for watching this tribute to Steve Cropper. If his music touched you or opened your ears to Memphis soul, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to help keep his memory alive. May his guitar never be silent, and may his legacy echo through every strum.